Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things ready through a common sense lens. And well, it's all official. We all know it beyond a shadow of a doubt now that Disney Doctor Who is dead. Boys and girls, they've got one little special that'll come out sometime later this year, and after that, the partnership has now been dissolved. And the real question is, a lot of people have been wondering why. Now, obviously, we've had speculation for a very long time. I think anybody looking at the thing out from the outside looking in, especially with an honest mind out there and a little bit of common sense, can see the writing on the wall for this for a very long time. We already knew that under Chris Chibnall, Doctor Who was in a disastrous dumpster fire of a state with some of the worst ratings in the history out there. The Timeless Child completely and totally erasing Hartnell as the original Doctor out there, and then of course replacing him with a little black girl and turning the Time Lords into nothing more than monsters that tortured a child in order to find out the secrets of her thing. Didn't exactly go over very well with the majority of Whovians out there, and obviously you can tell that from the ratings out there. Now, as a guy who's currently watching Classic Who on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, boys and girls, you should all come and join us for that. I am absolutely loving Hartnell, and yes, Hartnell is the first Doctor, no matter what Chris Chibnall tried to do to the lore. Well, needless to say, boys and girls, apparently BBC thought it was a great idea to get in bed with Disney and Russell T Davies, and Disney thought it was a good idea to pay like $10 million an episode in order to devolve with a show that was already going down the toilet and had lost a good chunk of its fan base because of what just Chibnall had done to the lore and to everything else inside of Doctor Who. Well, guess what? Russell T Davies came back and said, hold my double-sided dildo and watch this, because boys and girls, things turned into even more of a disastrous dumpster fire, resulting in the worst ratings of the series' 60-year history, boys and girls. And at a time where the rapper likes to remind us that diversity is on the way out, Disney's Doctor Who simply doubled down and took everything that Chibnall had done up to 11 with Russell T Davies. And guess what? Now we've got some inside sources inside of the Walt Disney Company as well as BBC themselves as to essentially confirming all of our speculation out there, because boys and girls, not only was it the worst ratings in history, but apparently, according to even Deadline themselves, MAGA politics were factors, because apparently Doctor Who had become too woke for Trump's MAGA America. But the fact that GOT was started and it was announced long before Trump was ever in office this time around, boys and girls, seems to not be a factor, because at the end of the day, everything ends up getting blamed on some kind of boogeyman, because none of them are willing to take responsibility for the disastrous dumpster fire of writing, storytelling, editing, showing, and of course, nothing more than shoving an agenda down Whovians' throats out there that have turned it off and caused so many fans to tune out of this show, giving you the worst ratings in 60-year history. You can say all you want about how much you love it and how much you love all the diversity, and all the rest of us are just a bunch of bigots, but at the end of the day, 2 + 2 still equals 4, and Disney's woke Doctor Who did not sell, boys and girls, and now we find ourselves here. So we're going to take this article from CosmicBook.news, but I want to pop over to Deadline and maybe even a little bit over at FandomPulse.com as well to jump into all of the juicy details for the whole, give you the whole scope of everything that's going on with all of this and what these insiders are saying. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,300. We're sailing our way towards 24. I think we're sitting at like 2365, and I could not do that with you without every single one of you. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, please check the links in the description as well. And let us know what you think about all of this. Do you believe these reasons? Do you believe that Doctor Who had become too woke for a Western civilization out there? Do you believe it had already done too much damage to its own brand out there, that even with Russell T Davies returning and stupid idiots like me being cautiously optimistic about his return, do you think this thing was always destined and doomed to fail? Do you think the BBC will ever be able to turn Doctor Who around, or do you think this thing is going to be shelved for the next decade, and that the Christmas special next year is nothing more than something to buy them some time and a Hail Mary at the last minute? Let us know what you think about it in the comment section down below, because unlike inside of woke Disney Doctor Who, all opinions are welcome down below. All right, from Matt McGloin and our dear sweet friends over at CosmicBook.news. Why Disney dumped Doctor Who. Ratings, budget, and woke content to blame. And I mean, it makes sense. Like, I mean, we've seen it. Like I said, we've got an article right here that says media went all in on diversity. Now it's in full retreat. Experts say the rollback in newsroom investment and DEI suggest they were never fully committed to the first place. It's not that maybe some of them weren't even fully committed. It's the fact that you guys have ran out of everybody else's money. Like, this stuff doesn't sell. General audiences and the majority of the population, especially in the United States, does not want this nonsense, especially, which has happened every single time they have done this to any franchise. You sacrifice good storytelling for your diversity quotas and your checkboxing, and it never works. Russell T. Davies told us flat out in interview after interview that pushing his own agenda inside of Doctor Who was more important to the ratings. He would rather reach kids with his propaganda than actually succeed and make Doctor Who as successful as he once did, bringing it back in the early days. But hey, guess what? I guess we all officially now understand why Eccleston was saying, you want me back? Fire Russell T. Davies, fire this, and the other. Well, I guess we all understand now why. Looks like Eccleston was right all along. Disney Plus has officially cut ties with Doctor Who, and now insiders are revealing why the deal fell apart. And it's more than just low ratings. According to Deadline, Doctor Who failed to attract new audiences on Disney Plus. Really? Color a shock there. But I thought you were doing better than ever with that younger demographic. Russell T. Davies, I guess that was just your BBC numbers that are also still the worst in the 60-year history of the show. Wow. It's almost like the culture as a whole is tired of your diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense over and over again, and they just want some good storytelling. I know, strange concept. Am I right? Wow. According to Deadline, Doctor Who failed to attract new audiences on Disney Plus, despite a reported budget of up to $13 million per episode. Yeah, that's the kind of money the House of Mouse and the BBC were spending on the worst ratings in the 60-year history of the franchise. Doctor Who failed to chart on Nielsen or Illuminate. Even with Disney's global marketing push, the series struggled to expand beyond its core fan base, a fan base that many argue has largely abandoned the show. Yeah, thanks Chris Chibnall and the Timeless Child. How'd that work out for everybody? How'd that work for your Doctor Who canon? Remember, Sunday nights at 7 p.m., we can go back to feeling good about Doctor Who. Join us. Don't miss it. It's going to give you a warm fuzzy. I promise. A former Disney executive told Deadline the writing was on the wall early. Everyone got the impression this wasn't doing what it needed to do on Disney Plus to be sustained, said the source. Yeah. Like I said, they're literally just reaffirming what all of us out there with common sense inside the Whovian sphere had been telling you for a long time. This was unsustainable. You cannot have a show this iconic with the worst ratings and 60-year history and try to go out there and tell us everything's fine and it's worth $13 million an episode. This is just absolutely insane. And the funny part is too, and of course we all know why, right? The politics and stuff like that for a lot of this. And even Deadline admits what a lot of people out there, just like what the Wrap won't admit either, that this stuff doesn't sell and it doesn't work. But it's like there's a section of it down in here where they basically say essentially that although Disney will never admit it, it absolutely has a lot to do with all of the woke politics and everything else that they put inside of the show. They'll never admit that politics was a factor, but it absolutely was. Well, it's going to be when that's what you do is you shove your diversity politics down everybody's throat. They're like, oh, well, you just don't like him because he's gay and black. We are currently going back and rewatching Classic Who right now, right? And they make an argument in the Deadline thing that, well, diversity's always been essential to the show. No, it hasn't. Go back and watch Classic Who with us on Sunday nights. You'll find out that no, that was never the case at all, right? It was never ingrained in the DNA, like all of these people that like to rewrite the history of it. Ingrained in the DNA of Doctor Who was fun sci-fi stories with a crazy old man in a box who was basically could be a little bit of a troll. The doctor would lie to you occasionally to get his way. You know, he'd tease you a little bit. He'd mess with you, you know, but you were going to have a good time. And hopefully everybody was going to get out alive, right? And it had a good time and a good story. It was a great escapism. It was never about any of this forced diversity. Because you know what Hartnell's doctor, the first doctor, would have never done? Abandon his companion to go make out with somebody, right? That's what Ncuti Gatwas did. That's what Russell T. Davies wrote into the show, was the doctor, the hero of his story, abandoning his companions to go make out in a closet with a dude. That's Russell T Davies' Doctor Who. That's what we get. Oh, or let me give you the other one. How about the line from the Doctor Who 60th anniversary anthology series, where they decided to talk down? They had ruined the Dr. Dono story on the sacrifice the Dr. Dono story on the altar to their political cult, right? Because David Tennant got the line that said from the ladies, well, if you were a man, you'd still understand. Because all of a sudden, the dude pretending to be a chick in Doctor Who, because they're a woman, can now all of a sudden hold inside of their brain and get something to work that Donna never could. And that would have literally fried Donna's brain if she ever remembered any of it. Yeah. That's the storytelling from Russell T Davies in modern Disney Doctor Who. So, is it just that I don't like black and gay people? Just curious. Just curious. According to Deadline, behind the scenes, execs reportedly regretted how much they spent on the series, which didn't generate Marvel-level buzz or awards attentions. Yeah, no shit. With lovely dudes like this, with basketball-sized hands that you're constantly told throughout the episode over and over and over again how pretty he is. Boy, I wonder why that didn't go over well for the fans. I wonder why that didn't attract new audiences over and over and over again. Because you can clearly see this dude's Adam's apple from a mile away. So yeah, politics may have made a role. Yeah, when you shove your political agenda right down our throats in the forms of entertainment. Sources for the site have also hinted at internal concerns about Doctor Who's woke image. Under Russell T Davies, the show featured LGBTQ plus themes, including a trans character, drag queen villain, and a same-sex kiss. Moves that may not have sat well with many viewers. Remember how this was just supposed to be a family-friendly show? This is supposed to be a show for all ages. That's what this has always been marketed as. It used to be that for my family. Me and my oldest used to wake up on Sunday mornings stoked to watch the next episode during the Matt Smith era, and even a lot of it during the Capaldi era. I loved Capaldi, absolutely did. Some of the storytelling went sideways, and you started to see some of this first woke political agenda stuff start to seep into it. But it doesn't matter. Capaldi makes it all worth it. You know who didn't make it all worth it? Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall, Ncuti Gatwa, or Russell T Davies. So yeah. One industry insider claimed the show was seen as too woke for Trump's USA, suggesting politics may have influenced Disney's decision. But of course, Disney will never admit that publicly, but we saw what happened with Jimmy Kimmel and everything else. So yeah, we know why. And it's not just politics. These kind of politics aren't accepted in modern America. It's that this stuff isn't accepted anywhere. Nobody wants this kind of storytelling. 60-year history. That's the BBC's own numbers. The worst ratings in the 60-year history of the show. Right? A show that you used to be able to walk into any hot topic in America and see an entire section of nothing but Doctor Who merch. In 2 showrunners across 4 or 5 different seasons, they destroyed that. Oh, but it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Trump's America doesn't like all this diversity. What's your excuse in the BBC? What's your excuse in the United Kingdom? Because Trump ain't the boss over there. He ain't really the boss here either. But at the end of the day, go ahead. Cry and whine. I know. It's all Trump's fault. Even though he wasn't even in office when Ncuti got hired, as Fandom Pulse liked to remind you guys of that too. The BBC will continue Doctor Who solo. We'll see about for how long. We'll see. With a 2026 special confirmed, Ncuti Gatwa has already exited the role, and the series finale left fans confused about the regeneration into Billie Piper's Rose Tyler. Yeah, you know, the one that didn't even introduced her as the Doctor, just introduced Billie Piper as the what? We also now know from Billie Piper that this was indeed a Hail Mary. That was something done at the very last moment as a favor to Russell T Davies and the BBC. So yeah. So tell me more, you woke sycophants, you Nuvians. Exactly how it was all planned. It was all intended. No, it wasn't. The ratings are a disastrous dumpster fire. And everybody knows that. Where the show actually goes, God only knows. Because this is the funny part about this. Since the BBC announced the Christmas special, speculation is already rampant about what the budget will be. There's no way the company can put the numbers Disney did for the production, but inside sources now know that the drop-off might cause even more trouble. Right? Basically, it's a Hail Mary. This gives them breathing time. Because this is where it goes. When they do this kind of stuff, you have to stop. You can't spend as much money as you did before because you can't keep going with this. Committing to a Christmas special that is still 15 months away buys the BBC time to ponder how to push on now that it has lost a hefty chunk of its Doctor Who budget. It can be a reset and buys everyone time to make decisions, was how it was characterized by someone close to the series. So literally, they're buying time. They can't get anybody interested in investing in this thing. So they're going to punt. They're going to kick it off until late 2026 of next year because they know the show is toast. Because Disney, one of the most highest level of virtue signaling companies out there in the world, bar none. Reimagine Tomorrow, anyone? Has cut their losses. Why? Because just like every other Marxist ideology out there that is tried to push on a general, still remarkably common sense culture, fails. It runs out of other people's money. And that's exactly what has happened. Once again, the old adage is proven true. Go woke, go broke. Because that's exactly what Doctor Who has been since Chris Chibnall took over. It's been diversity, inclusion, equity, and storytelling by check boxes. Oh, we got to have a drag queen. Let's tell a story all about one. Oh, we got to have a black gay doctor so we can have our first on-screen gay kiss. Let's have the doctor abandon his companion to go do that. And how this is what we've gotten. Because guess what? Whovians out there don't want this. Whovians want what we get on Sunday nights with Classic Who, with Hartnell, and everything going all the way up to, at least in this humble comment nerd's opinion, and this one Whovian's mind opinion out there, all the way up until Capaldi. After that, it's all garbage. It's all trash, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not canon. They have damaged and destroyed the longest running sci-fi television show in history. They have brought it to worse places than it was before its last hiatus. Tell me again how Doctor Who's going to continue at the BBC. Because guess what? Funding's run out. And after all, BBC, Disney, Doctor Who, you dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. You believed all of his lies, that the Whovians were stupid nerds and they were never going to go anywhere, and that you would be able to shove all of your diversity, inclusion, and equity stuff all the way down their throat until you could blow a load inside of their stomach. And guess what? You got your dick bitten off. And now you've lost your funding. You believed all of the lies, and now you've gotten burned for it. And at the end of the day, it's exactly what you deserve. Because after all, you've done it to yourself. And go woke, go broke is proven true all over again. A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.